Hello, my name is Noah, and today I'm gonna talk about my life, and this is the autobiography or the Unit 5 summative. So, when I was born, my physical changes was that I came out of my mom's body or stomach, and I started to breathe and cry. But I didn't have any other changes because I didn't really know anything. So in pre-K nursery or kindergarten, my physical changes was that I started growing taller and taller, and also my first baby tooth came out. And my emotional changes were, I don't know, I think I didn't have one because I didn't really have big things to worry. And I think my social changes were that I learned to share, and sharing is a good thing. So, yeah. And then my spiritual changes was that I learned who God was, and I believed in them, like God, Jesus, the spirits, and all those people. So when I went up to first grade, my physical changes were that I was, of course, growing taller, and my baby tooth came out and my adult tooth came in. And my emotional changes were that I learned to never give up, because if we give up too early, we can't do anything and we can't learn anything. And my social changes was that I learned to read and write more complicated words, because I really didn't know English when I first came to GSIS, and I learned it here. So, yeah. And my spiritual changes was that I didn't really change my belief. It was still God and Jesus and all those people, but I read the kids' Bible with my mom, dad, or brother sometimes, but I couldn't really read, so that was a problem. So in second grade, my physical changes were that I was one of the tall people in class, but that means I was growing really fast. And my emotional changes were that I learned that being kind feels super good. And my social changes were that I learned how to do multiplication in math. And my spiritual changes were that I first thought of my relationship with God. So when I moved up to third grade, my my physical changes were that I was, of course, getting taller, and I was getting more active, and my swimming skills were up because I was horrible in the below grades from third grade. And my emotional changes were same as like second grade. It didn't really change, that being kind feels super good. And my social changes were that I learned that having best friends is really good, and it feels really good to like tell others what I feel and how I feel, or anything that I can't tell like normal people. And my spiritual changes were, or it didn't really change, but I learned that there were more religions than Christianity. So when I moved up to fourth grade, my physical changes were that I was starting to grow really tall, and I started puberty in fourth grade. And my emotional changes were that I learned that being kind is not only being helpful, because being kind, you need to like have a lot of empathy and all those stuff. And the social changes I learned was that I need to respect others really well, and cooperate, because we can't like work well. And my spiritual changes, like I said, it didn't really change, but I learned how to respect other religions that are not the same as mine. So right now, or in fifth grade, my physical changes were that I was going through puberty and or period, and I was of course growing taller, and I my emotional changes was that I learned how to like think about others before I speak or after I speak, and my social changes were that I started to think of myself in sixth grade, seventh grade, or the future, and I also learned that when helping the others or the help person only likes it when they called for help, not like they don't do anything and we just help. They might not like it. And the spiritual changes was that I learned to accept different religions from different countries or different centuries. So my goals for sixth grade is, or my physical change, my goal of my physical change is to grow really tall, and if I can, I want to grow taller than my mom, and also I don't want to break any bones or cut my muscles. My emotional changes is I'll try to respect others the best I can, and my social changes I want to change is I want to think before I speak, like always, constantly keep on doing it. And my spiritual changes is my goals. I think I still want to respect other religions the same way I respect Christianity. What I learned in puberty is that there is a thing called period that only happens to girls, and I learned what that is. And period is when blood comes out of your some part, and and I learned all sorts of stuff about puberty and middle school. I think puberty can affect our lives or my life in many ways, but it affects. I think it affects my physical changes because our bodies change a lot and it becomes more like adultish. Like for boys their voice cracks, and for girls we need to go through a lot of changes, and I think it affects our emotional changes because we might be like sad, angry, or frustrated for a lot of reasons. And for social changes, it puberty affects social changes because maybe what we might think might change to something different, and we might learn a lot more. And I think it affects our spiritual changes because maybe we might say we hate this because we're too angry, and then we might choose another way.